Robert Byrne. So Robert Byrne and Fischer. Oh, Spassky Fischer. Can't find it. Player 2. Oh, probably have to do. Oh, yeah, Bent Larson. Fischer versus Robert Byrne, 71. Yeah, this is after. Oh, this is the game I want to show you. This is the game. We all know Robert Byrne is the game of the century. You know, that's what he played earlier when he was a young boy in the, was it the Manhattan Chess Club? Go, Robert Fox. I've got $29 million. Thank you. That's my accountant, Robert Fox. And he says, I've got $29 million in my account. He's full of shit. I've got nothing in my bank account at the moment. Absolutely nothing. I think I might have $5 or something. I don't even think I've got, I think I got $2.50. Anyway, I'm going to look at this game. And I'll tell you what, I'll put it in the computer analysis room. So Robert Byrne's playing the black pieces. And Bobby Fischer played at the Manhattan Chess Club in 1971, New York, USA. And so we're going into the chess.com analysis room. Okay, so here we go. And Mikhail Shigorin said even a bad plan is better than having no plan at all. Okay. Right, so it's E4 by the great Bobby Fischer. Bobby Fischer played at 92.5% accuracy in this game. For the purposes of this game, they've rated Bobby Fischer at 2,760 and Robert Byrne 2,510. And no, this is not the greatest game of the century, this game. This is another game. Anyway, C4 was played. Byrne chose the Sicilian defence, which controls the D4 square with the C pawn. And now white played knight to F3. Right. Typical Bobby Fischer. Used to like to smash the Sicilian. As a matter of fact, the way Bobby Fischer played this game, it's almost like a computer. I'm not joking. I was stunned when I saw the way this game was played. Next move was knight C6. Right, this helps control the D4 square and E5 square. Helps control those squares. So it's a good move. It's a book move. Knight C3 was played, and now D6. Okay, so we've just got the Sicilian. He's playing pawn here. He's controlling that square, and he's opening up his bishop. So Byrne is doing all the right things against the greatest player that's ever lived. But, you know, there's a good argument now that Magnus Carlsen is the greatest player that's ever lived. D4. C takes D. And knight takes D4. But, yeah, but I still believe Bobby Fischer was the greatest player that ever lived. Knight to F6. And now bishop C4. Okay, so bishop C4. Queen to B6. Now this is a book move. Puts pressure along this diagonal and also eyes the B pawn. So you've got to work out what are you going to do with the knight. Now I was really surprised. I've had this position myself so many times, and then I've got a bit confused as to what to do. And now I know by watching Bobby Fischer. Knight takes knight is the book move. I didn't even know that until I had a look at this game this afternoon that I want to share with you. He played C takes, which is correct. You can't take with the queen. If you take with the queen, the bishop will pin the queen to the king, so you must take with the pawn. So Bobby forced that situation, and now he castled. He simply castled. And continues with his idea of developing his pieces. At any cost, mind you, at any cost. So he's prepared to not capitulate. He's prepared to give away material, anything he can to continue his attacking play. And Bobby chooses, Black chooses e6, which is a book move, and now bishop to f4 was played. Now the engine says it's an excellent move and activates a bishop by developing it off its starting square, and it simply threatens bishop takes pawn. Right, White played queen takes pawn, which is the best move. So isn't that interesting? Bobby Fischer sacrificed a pawn, and his opponent, Robert Byrne, has taken the pawn. He said, no, I don't believe your story. I'm going to take the pawn. And Robert Byrne, the Grandmaster Robert Byrne, he's chosen the correct move. And White played queen to d3, star move, best move. Now at this stage, apparently, the engine is giving this position of White as favourable to White. Okay, favourable to White. White has massive development. Why has White got lost a pawn and still winning, according to the engine? Well, one, White is castled, so he's completed his development. Two, the second reason is the castles are connected, the major pieces ready to come into the game. Three, the centre's controlled with the all this major piece activity in the middle. And four, the black king is in the middle, right? Black king is the black king. There he is. He's still sitting in the middle of the board, waiting to be attacked. Okay, White played queen there, and it's not the best move. It overlooks a better way to add a defender to the vulnerable pawn. Okay, so the correct move was probably, let's see if I can find the correct move, queen to b8. And queen to b8 is the best move. So he does retreat his queen, puts it on a safe square, and White's still got a better game according to the chess engine, right? But he never played that. He made a mistake. He played queen here. And now White said, well, right, if you're going to go there, I can attack you. So White put the and it's wrong. He used the wrong castle. How often do we hear in chess, oh, John, I've got two castles that can attack the queen or take the file. How do I know which one to use? Well, Bobby Fischer couldn't work it out in this position. It was so complicated that Bobby couldn't work it out. So the rook on the rook to d1 was the best, eh? Anyway, queen to c5 was played. Best move. And now White played rook to d1, star move, best move. Okay? So White's got all the pieces in active positions. And what White needs to do is he needs to somehow penetrate this pawn wall that Black's got up in front of his king. E5 was played. It's not the best move, right? It's an inaccuracy. So the best move is actually d5. Okay, d5 is the best move. Okay, so but he played e5, and now what did Bobby do? Well, he went there. He just went over there to attack the knight, and I'm sure that all he wants to do is take off the knight and take the central pawn if he can. Black played bishop e7. Apparently it's not the best move. Apparently knight here, threatening this queen takes pawn check or knight takes pawn, is the best move. So Byrne didn't see it or thought that, probably too scared to play it. He didn't want to lose time. He knew Bobby had a lot of development. He played bishop e7. Now, White's still got a better game. It's unbelievable, the accuracy of the great Bobby Fischer. And for those people that are coming in, I've got 168 viewers. I'm looking at the game Robert Byrne, USA, 2610. And it was played in 1971 at Manhattan Chess Club, I believe. Okay. Anyway, so Bishop Takes Knight was played by Bobby Fischer. Now, the reason you think, oh, why would you give up your bishop for the knight when black seems to have a strong position? Well, the whole idea is if you take with the bishop, white does have this option of capturing here, right? And if you take with the pawn, the white square here is a bit weak, and the white square here is covered, right? So what do you do? Well, he took back with the pawn, and that's apparently the best move. Okay. Now here, Bobby Fischer has to decide what he's going to do. And let's have a look and see what he does. Played knight to e2, not the best move. Apparently, knight to d5 is the best move. Okay, so it's a hard move to see, but after knight here, if you take the knight, the bishop can take back, and the castle here is trapped. Right, can you see that? And apparently Bobby Fischer missed that. Even though he's playing at 92.5% accuracy, Bobby Fischer missed that against the great Robert Byrne, Grandmaster Byrne of the USA. So he played knight e2. He wants to get his knight to head over here to f5 and dominate all the white squares. Now, Byrne thought that if I'll put my bishop there, and if the bishop takes the bishop, well, the pawn can take, and the pawn would stop the knight coming in. And this was his logic behind the move. But Bobby Fischer saw a lot deeper than that. He just took the bishop, pawn recaptured. Now white's winning clearly. You'd say, oh, John, but how is white winning clearly? Well, the black king is on the back rank, and there's no activity with the castles at the moment. There's a semi-open file here, but it can't do anything. There's an open file here, and at the moment, white's got control of the open file. So white played rook there, question mark. Apparently queen h3 is better. Queen h3, just simply threatening to take the pawn. I thought I liked queen h3, but Bobby said, no, I'm going to play rook here. Probably played the move quickly because he knew he was winning anyway. But apparently this position's close to being equal. King f7 was played, and that's the correct move. And now rook to b1 was played, and that's wrong. Best move was queen to f3. But I'll tell you why he played rook here. Bobby played rook here to stop the challenge on the open file. He was a bit concerned someone would challenge him. So he played rook b1. So now he can't be challenged on the open file. And now black played d5, which is the best move. Fischer replied knight to g3, which is the best move. And now h5 was played. And now h4 exclamation mark. He says that pawn on h5 is a weakness, and you've got some weak white squares around your king, right? Some weak white squares around the king. I've got a rook on the 7th rank looking at your king, you know, with a veiled idea of a threat. So what does Robert Byrne do now? Well, he played a4, and apparently it's the wrong move. Best move was a6, a5 he played. The best move was a6 apparently. I don't know why, but it was the best move. White played queen to f3. Now white just wants to threaten to take this pawn. Right. And the king moved up. Well, he thought, well, I've got all these pawns to protect my position, and how wrong he could have been when he's facing his nemesis, the World Chess Champion, Bobby Fischer. This is 1971. So this is just after Robert Fischer became champion of the world. Do you know 6 or 7 years after Bobby Fischer became champion of the world, you know, he walked into a cafe in New York, I think it was, or somewhere like that. And there's two guys playing chess. And Bobby looked at the position. He says, "Oh, you missed this, and that's not the right move. You can't play that. You can win if you do this." And you know what the guy said? He said, "Who do you think you are?" He says, "I'm Bobby Fischer." He says, "I'm the champion of the world." And anyway, the guy says, "Well, my name's Bob or something, and this is Billy Blacksmith," whatever his name was, the other bloke he's playing chess with. He says, "And we don't care." So that was they met Bobby Fischer, and that was the reaction. True story. So anyway, rook to b3 was played. It's a rook left, and you wouldn't think so, but black's threatening all manner of things now, because white's pieces are all the squares are overloaded, right? So this queen is holding this pawn, and this pawn's holding that one, and the queen's also holding the bishop. So the queen's basically holding the whole position together. And now he played pawn there to attack the castle. Well, it puts the castle exactly where it wants to go. It hit the queen. And now he's got a problem because he's got to protect his bishop. And so he just slipped back in there inside to the protection of his pawns. But now comes the coup de grace. Knight takes pawn, double exclamation mark. That's right. So Bobby Fischer, Robert J. Fischer, champion of the world. There he goes. He plays knight takes pawn, and then his opponent looks at the position. He says, "Well, I know what I'll do. I'll play pawn here. I'm not going to take the knight. I'm just going to attack you and threaten you a little." And now pawn takes pawn, check was played, best move. And now notice how more white squares are opened up. Now that, you know, all these squares are, the king is full of holes, and there's a cross castle attack here too. And with the queen coming here, it looks pretty bad. And so he played rook, Bobby played rook takes bishop. And after this move, which was calculated by Bobby, black simply resigned, because play could have gone queen takes rook, and rook takes pawn check. And now if you go here, it's checkmate. And if you go here, it'll also be a terrible thing with queen takes pawn check here. And then you've only got one square. I only got this one. But after king here, rook checks is deadly. Right, rook checks is deadly. Because if you go here, which is the only, you can't go anywhere else, queen takes rook check will be played. So really you've got to take that. And after, well, knight takes queen, that's all over. Bobby Fischer's won the game. Right, so yeah, so it was a very clever win by the world champion Bobby Fischer. And so what we'll do is we'll go back now. We'll go back if we can. Not sure I can do this. Well, maybe I can't. It's taking a little while. I want to have a look at some other Bobby Fischer games. There's quite a few wonderful games in the chess.com database of great players. Right, Bobby Fischer was born on March 9, 1943, and he had lots of problems as he got older, and I think his fame was actually destroying him in one way. It's very sad, because I grew up in the era of Bobby Fischer. I was born in 1952, so when Fischer became world champion, I was 18 and just learning how to play chess. And so I followed his career through the candidates when he played Ullman and Bent Larsen and Tigran Petrosian. And I've previously done a video on the greatest candidates ever held, right? And Mikhail Tal was playing in that one. That was before Bobby became world champion. And Bobby Fischer accused the Russians of colluding. And that was back then, before his ascension to the throne as chess king. Right, so, and he was right. He was proven right. They were colluding at the time in the candidates. But they were probably told to by the Russian Chess Federation. That was scared of Bobby Fischer. They were scared of him. Right, so this is 1992. I want to go back further. I'm still looking at going back further. Let's go back to 6. Here we go. So all Bobby Fischer's games are basically here in his glory years. And this is a very great player. Henrik Mecking, there's a great player. In this game was played in 1970. Henrik Mecking used a Nimzovich-Larsen attack. There we go. I might have a look at this game. This is Henrik Mecking, rated 2,554, according to the computer rankings by chess.com and the artificial intelligence. Bobby Fischer, for this purpose, was 2,780 at the time. Game was played in 1970. It was played in Palma de Mallorca in Spain. And Palma de Mallorca has always been a great location for major world chess tournaments on the chess calendar in the past. And a lot of the great players, including all the Russian team, and that used to love to go to Palma de Mallorca. Okay, B3 was played by Bobby Fischer. How often have you seen Bobby Fischer play B3? Did he have contempt for Henrik Mecking? Or was he taking a leaf out of Bent Larsen's book? So there we go. D5 was played, Bishop B2, and C5 was played, Knight F3, and the whole idea is white's just controlling these squares with a view to possibly getting a kingside attack later on. Knight C6 was played, and now E3. It's just to sort of steer black away from playing D4. Knight F6 was played, so black's just supporting the D pawn and looking at E4. And all black wants to do really is he wants to put his knights on F6 and C6, just like Bobby Fischer told him to. Because what Bobby said. He says, I'm the greatest player in the world, and that's what you should do. You put your knights on F6 and C6 when you're developing, and develop your knights before your bishops. And I was brought up on all those basic chess principles. Bishop to B5. Now, this is a very positional move, highly positional move. It can be tactical too in some variations, but at the moment it's very positional. And what white's doing is developing a bishop, preparing to castle, and at the same time, by pitting the knight against the king, he's taking away black's control of the E5 square, the all-important E5 square. Okay. Now, Henrik Mecking played bishop D7, right? I should put this in the computer analysis, shouldn't I? I'll put this in the computer analysis room, so we'll have the benefit of having the computer analysis as well. Okay, and I can tell you what rating performance the two players played at. Bobby Fischer played an astounding 96.2% accuracy. This is before computers, by the way. And Mecking played at 88%. Right, B3, here we go. We'll get back to this position. And bishop B5. E6 was played. Now, when you play E6, Bobby would have thought, that's great because I've achieved my goal. Well, his goal was to develop a piece and to secure this square, this all-important square, for White's piece operations later on. Okay. D3 was played, question mark. I think Bobby wasn't too sure of what to do here, but his plan is very simple. He's pushing the pawn one square forward to bring his other knight to D2, right? Okay, so bishop E7 was played. He takes the knight first, right? Very important. If you don't take the knight, what you have to be careful of in this position is this move, knight here, right? Because that way White has to capture and Black's got no problems. He gets to keep the knight to challenge on this square, all right? So that's the plan. So bishop takes knight though, bishop takes bishop. And now knight to E5. Now, he's actually threatening something. You might think, but how could he be threatening something? Well, he is. Bobby Fischer would just love in this position to capture that bishop and double those pawns, double the two pawns here. And then he could push a pawn here and lock those two pawns in right through to the endgame and just win the endgame. Right? So even in this middle game position, he's looking at the endgame. That's what grandmasters do. So Mecking, being the top player that he is, he'll stop him. So he played rook c8 to stop knight takes bishop. Now if knight takes bishop, the castle can take back. So he develops his other knight, right? He's not going to give up that good knight for that bad bishop, right? Okay, so he castles. G'day, first time chatter, chess master, not really. Create an arena tournament, he says. I could create an arena tournament after, but right now I'm looking at this game. Bobby Fischer, greatest player that's ever lived, versus Henrique Mecking of Brazil. And Mecking was a very strong grandmaster. He was a candidates player, I believe. Henrique Mecking of Brazil. F4 was played, securing the knight on the securing the E5 square. The knight went back. He wants to get rid of that knight. And White just played the queen forwards. And it's a good move according to the computer. So it connects the rooks, which helps them coordinate together in the future. So when the queen moves here, the two castles are now connected so that this rook can slide along. So the computer likes the move. Knight takes knight. The position's equal though, by the way. Have a look at the bar, the evaluation bar on the side of the board. And now bishop takes, which is correct. And now bishop to f6. He says, well, I'd love to take that bishop. Would you like to change bishops? I bet you Bobby says no. He played rook to f3. So what he's doing, he says, I've got total contempt for you. He says, I'm going to play my rook up, move my rook over there, attack your king. Queen to e7 was played, very defensive move. And now rook to f1, rook on the a file to f1. a5, now this doesn't do much at all. So it got a question mark from the computer. Now White's got an advantage. Remember the position was equal before. Rook g3, bishop takes bishop. This is a bad move apparently. And now pawn takes bishop. But he's under pressure, he's under tremendous pressure. He's playing Bobby Fischer, right? And it's tremendous pressure for him. F5 was played. Apparently it's the best move. And now pawn takes pawn. and now rook takes pawn. So black is just trying to remove the tension in the position. And now queen takes pawn check. This is Bobby Fischer playing chess. The queen takes, and now rook takes rook. And now when you look at the position, queen takes rook's best, trying to double the pawns. But white's got 2, 4, 6, 7 pawns, and black's got 2, 4, 6 pawns, and white's got an active castle. He's threatening rook takes pawn. Now, rook protected the pawn, and now look at this move. This is a master move. He's got double pawns, and he says, I'm going to push him because I know your king wants to attack my castle. My castle doesn't want you to do that. So he played pawn here, and it's a best move, and he's attacking a pawn structure. So this super grandmaster Henrique Mecking from Brazil, he wants to play an active endgame and eliminate a few of these pawns. Knight to f3 was played. Not the best move. I think Carlsen would have found the best move here. But it ignores an opportunity to activate the king by getting it off the back rank. So king f2 was probably better. Pawn takes pawn. A takes b. And now king there doesn't do much at all because I've pawn there, correct? Okay, so now what does white do? White's faced with a problem. We've got good knight versus bad bishop. He played e5, apparently the best move. And now knight here. The knight wants to come into the f5 square. The bishop moves back and he says, I don't want you going in there. Well, he says, I'm going to hit your bishop and I'm threatening your pawn, so you make the decision. Will my knight go in there or will you just play bishop c6? You played bishop e6 and now what? Well, king moves up, doesn't it? King moves up to help this structure. King there, f7. Rook hits pawn. So this rook has penetrated the black position. It's threatening a check. Rook takes pawn check. Very powerful. Rook e7. And now e4. This move is very important because it fixes these two pawns on white squares. And this bishop's got no mobility. And in endgames, the mobility of the pieces is everything. Pawn takes pawn, and now pawn there. Notice what black's trying to do is he's trying to jettison all the pieces, right? White pushed past. He says, no, I'm going to push past. He says, I'm not going to take that rubbish. So he moved bishop here to activate the bishop. And now the king moved to e3. It's a solid choice, right? It's not the best move, but it's a solid choice amongst several moves. Rook here, because it's a difficult endgame still. And now pawn check, very important move, because now king moved back. If you'd taken the pawn, knight takes pawn would have been deadly, right? Okay, imagine if you'd taken this pawn, well, the knight would take back and you can't stop knight takes pawn, and that would be the end of the game, right? So there we have it. So he played king back, and now pawn takes pawn, best move, and now he's threatening a knight check anyway. And now rook takes pawn, now knight check. There it comes, and now the pawn in the middle falls. Knight takes pawn, and now have a look at the position. Position where white had double pawns, that was the only advantage he had, and now he's turned that into, with good knight versus bad bishop, he's turned that into 4 pawns against 2, and that's just a mess against someone of Bobby Fischer's calibre. So knight takes pawn was played, now it's 4 pawns to 1, and knight check here is threatened, right? And king went there, and now knight there, and unfortunately that's just about the end of it. He played rook here, king went back, he went king here, and now knight takes bishop, king takes, and rook there, and it's here in this position that the great Henrique Mecking, super grandmaster from Brazil, rated 2,554, capitulated to the great Bobby Fischer. There we go. Right, now a chess master, not really, wants me to create an arena tournament. Woo-wee. I want to play through another one of Bobby Fischer's games. So here we go. We're on Twitch TV. We've got 196 wonderful viewers. G'day, viewers. And we're going to go back. We're going to go back again to the database, the game's database. Here it is here. And there's Bobby Fischer. And what we're doing is we're looking at Bobby Fischer's games. And we were looking at a game, Mecking. We played through a game, Robert Byrne played him in 71. And we just played through a game with the Henrique Mecking, the Super GM from Brazil. And now we'll just go here. And we'll just see if we can find some interesting openings. This is 72 Fischer-Spassky matches. Fischer-Spassky. Khan, I think that's what he played. I think that's the one I watched. Okay. Gonna have a look at another game. Whoa, 71. Oscar Pano. I wonder if he Oscar Pano, he was a top player, wasn't he? Oh, there's a player that's very interesting. Bobby Fischer played Grandmaster Florin Gheorghiu of Romania. He was pretty good. I really would like to look at a particular type of opening. We'd like to go back and have a look at a great opening. So see what's going on back in the 60s. So Scandinavians, we'll see Sicilian defences. Khan against Panov. 2 knights attack. I'm trying to look for an interesting opening to show you. Got lots of Roy Lopez and Sicilians. French. Morphy defense, French classical. I saw a King's Gambit there earlier. I thought, gee, that'd be a nice game to play through. But there was also a Panov attack. The Panov attack by Bobby Fischer. The Marshall attack by Jan Hein Don. Bobby Fischer destroying the Marshall attack. This might be interesting to see. So this is back in 1965. He's playing Jan Hein. Is it Donner? Yeah, it's Donner. It's Grandmaster Donner. Jan Donner. Yeah, Donner was a very strong Dutch Grandmaster, I believe. And it's a Roy Lopez Marshall attack. This could be a really good game to have a look at. So we're going to go back into the analysis room. So we've got the benefit of having a look at the game using the artificial intelligence in the chess.com analysis room. It's Jan Hein Donner, Grandmaster Donner from the Netherlands, right? So he was from the Netherlands. It used to be Holland, New Holland, didn't it? Holland? Or was Australia New Holland? There we go. But now they don't call it Holland anymore. They call it the Netherlands, I believe. Anyway, so Bobby Fischer played at 97.5% accuracy. Now, this is one of the arguments why they say that Bobby Fischer was a greater player than Magnus Carlsen. One of the arguments that they put forward is when they look at all Bobby Fischer's games, the high degree of accuracy that Bobby Fischer employed, they find that he edges out Magnus Carlsen in the accuracy, right? In the percentage accuracy as decided by the artificial intelligence, okay? So that's one of the arguments, right? Because there's arguments for and against. You can say, well, Magnus Carlsen played chess over a much longer period and all the rest of it. So it's always contentious, right? Some people would think that Garry Kasparov might be up there, but he's certainly one of the greatest players of all time, Garry Kasparov. And don't forget Anatoly Karpov and Vishwanathan Anand. They're all in the mix. Here we go. So we're going to have a look at this game. And we're looking at Ruy Lopez opening the martial attack. It's the modern main line that we're going to be looking at today. And for the purposes of this game, Bobby Fischer played at 3,000 rating. That's right. He played with a performance rating of 3,000. And Jan Hein Donner, Grandmaster Donner of the Netherlands, he played at 2,650. Way above his 2,430 rating, okay? And so they even say that 97.5% after retries. All right then, let's have a look at this game. Bobby Fischer's playing a white pieces. He opened with e4. e5 by Jan Hein Donner of the Netherlands. Knight f3. Okay, so the knight is attacking the pawn, knight c6, and bishop b5, which is Bobby Fischer's little pet Ruy Lopez. He loved the Ruy Lopez. He would play it all day and all night and all week and all year for the rest of his life. He loved the Ruy Lopez. a6 was played, bishop a4, knight f6, and castles. And bishop e7, rook e1, b5, and now bishop b3. Castles by black, and now c3. It's a book move. It prepares the d4 pawn to be pushed forwards, right here, and opens up the c2 square for the bishop to pop back if it's challenged by the knight, right? Bobby Fischer lost a really, really good game by Mikhail Tal's trainer, Kotov, I think it was, where he destroyed Bobby Fischer's Ruy Lopez. Yeah, true. So if you want to go back and look at that, so in one of my YouTube videos, FM John Curtis' YouTube, so you can have a look at how Kotov destroyed Bobby Fischer. Bobby Fischer didn't lose many games in his life. He didn't lose that many. So if you beat Bobby Fischer, that was pretty good. d5 was played. Pawn takes pawn, and now knight takes pawn, main line of the martial attack. You know that in modern times, most of the super grandmasters, they all avoid the martial. They do. They avoid the martial with the anti-martial moves because they're all scared of being attacked. It's true. The martial's so complicated that you might not be able to remember all the different lines, and even the super grandmasters are scared of the martial. So there you go. They can thank Frank Marshall for that. Knight takes pawn was played. Knight takes knight and rook takes knight, which is the main line. Black played c6, which is the main line. White played d4, main line, and now bishop d6. This is all theory. I played the same position against Grandmaster Florin Gheorghiu of Romania. Was it? No, it wasn't Florin Gheorghiu. It was International Master Hazai. Yeah, I played International Master Hazai, and I had exactly the same position. And I was playing the white pieces. I should have looked at this game before I played International Master Hazai, who destroyed me. He was a world theoretician on the Marshall. He played rook e1, Bobby Fischer. Queen h4, and now we're threatening queen takes pawn check. Okay, so it's pretty obvious what you've got to do. You've got to push the pawn. Now, do you know that if you push this pawn, the bishop can take that off and white's winning, right? So you can't push the wrong pawn. You've got to push that one. The queen went to h3, and now bishop e3. That's a book move, and it's the strongest and best move. Do you know that if International Master Hazai was playing Bobby Fischer, gee, that'd be a good game to watch. Anyway, bishop there attacks the queen. That's the main move. It's a book move. And now queen to d3. This is a book move. Knight takes bishop. All right then. This is an equal trade according to the engine. Now you can't take with the pawn. If you take with the pawn, bishop takes pawn will give you a big headache, right? So you can't do that. So what move do you play? Well, you take with the rook, and that's the correct move. Okay, so Jan Hein Donner, what does he do next? What's his next plan? c5, he just pushes the pawn up, but Bobby slips his bishop in. He doesn't take the bait. Donner's trying to attack Bobby Fischer. He is. He's trying to attack him. So he played rook to d8, which is the best move. Knight b5 to d2 is the best move. And now bishop to b8. So this is all best move stuff. And white's still got the advantage, but white's bishop is threatened. Rook takes bishop is a threat. Bishop g2 attacks the queen, and the queen goes back to h6. So all I can say is, from my observations here, that Donner must have prepared this line against Bobby Fischer. That's what I believe. d5 was played, and c5, it's a question mark. It's not the best move. Queen to d4, and now bishop to f5, best move. b3, rook c8, pawn takes pawn. Bishop d6, he's trying to activate all these pieces. Queen b6. Now this is an interesting move, isn't it? He doesn't want the bishop to get to this square. He will change queens, right? So this is a really top move. Star move, it's the best move on the board. Bishop hits castle. He's on the queen, takes, and bishop recaptures. Now he's on the castle. He's forcing the castle to protect the knight, or pawn to f4 be played. That's the best move. It's forced. It's a forced move. g5. This is a mistake, I believe. Inaccuracy. Allows the opponent to win a tempo by threatening a bishop. Okay, so that was a big mistake. Probably under pressure. Rook to e5. Best move. Bishop to d3. He's attacking the pawn structure. Pawn, he moves the pawn forwards. How is that, eh? How is that? Is that a move or what? Because now we have two passed pawns moving forwards, and they would be deadly. Rook takes pawn. Is that, wow, he's taking the bait. Pawn forwards, he says, I'm coming forwards. What are you going to do about that? I'm threatening a castle. I'm threatening pawn takes pawn. So you've got to make a decision. So he played rook takes pawn, wrong decision. Right, so in this position, it says white really outplayed black here. Rook takes pawn. Pawn forwards. And he says, what? You can't do that. He says, yes, I can. So pawn takes pawn. Black's starting to open white up, but white's calculated everything here. And he plays rook to e1. Mistake. Okay, so what was the best move in this position? Was it rook here? Star move, best move. I found it. There we go. I found the best move. I didn't look at the computer either. Rook there, double the rooks, bishop there. Now he plays rook there. He's simply threatening rook takes rook and make a queen. Right? Bishop checks, he gives him a check, moves his king, and he moves his bishop back there. He went to the wrong square. Pawn takes pawn. He says, I don't care. Your castle's not going anywhere. Your bishop's not going anywhere. He played rook back and hits the pawn. And now he protects it. He says, no, I want you to give me a castle for that pawn. I'm not happy. I want more. So he played rook there. So he gave him a check. And then the bishop went in. And now knight comes up. Look at this. The knight is moving forwards now. Remember, he's threatening knight takes bishop check. And the pawn becomes a queen. So he played bishop there. That's the only move on the board. And now pawn hits bishop. Okay. So rook takes the pawn. He's got to stop that queen. And now rook takes bishop check. And now king takes. And now pawn takes bishop. Now he's on this castle. Right? But worse, amongst worst, is he's threatening pawn takes pawn and making another queen. And you can't bring your king over because the castle's covered by the knight. And after this move, Jan Hein Donner resigned, right, because his castle's attacked. He's got to save his castle. What's he going to do? Hit the bishop? Well, he just takes the pawn. You can't stop the queen. You can't stop it. Bishop here, after rook takes bishop, the bishop's blocking the queen, so it's just a queen with check. So there you go. That's some games from the great Bobby Fischer. And I hope you enjoyed those. And now I'll be taking on all challenges. Now we'll play some lightning chess, play some blitz chess. John, any advice? Pablo DMP asks on how to recover from losing a game against a 2900 rated GM, which I was totally winning. I'm a 1900. Well, I've got lots of advice. Just get over it, right? That's what I reckon. Just get over it. Bronze B1 wants a 10-minute game. Sorry, Bronze B1, not giving 10-minute games to non-subscribers. I don't think you're a subscriber. If you're a subscriber, please inform me that you're a subscriber. I'm only playing 10-minute games against subscribers. Knight F3, playing Emery Cocker Kaplan. Just make sure you can see the board. There we go. So I'll play Bobby Fischer's Rye Lopez. And we'll castle. Playing the Berlin defence. And we're going to play Rook E1. Bobby Fischer style. And now we can play H3. Or we can play C3. I'm going to play C3. Because this is in tune with what do you call it? The style of the opening. Now I'm going to play H3. Right, so I'm just sitting there waiting, Bobby Fischer style. So we covered Bobby Fischer. I thought, well, I'll play my chess game in the style of Bobby Fischer. Playing D4. So I'm just taking the centre of the board. He's played knight takes pawn. So I'll just recapture with the knight. And now I'll just take his bishop. And take the pawn. And so now I've just got two lovely pawns in the centre of the board, supported by a castle and a queen. Right, Bobby Fischer would love this position. So Rem Cocker Kaplan has probably played this game several times. Knight here is a good developing move. Now we've got F4. Looks like a right move. It looks like a right move. Queen to D3 looks good. I liked Queen to F3 as well, but Queen to D3 looks like a great move. Bishop to E3 looks right. So it just develops a piece. Gone there. So he's threatening a pawn. Well, I can push a pawn forwards, attacks his queen. Now I can centralise my bishop. So he has not played this too well. He's under tremendous attack. Right, I'm going to play rook to E2. Now, I don't know that that's the right move, rook E2, but I'm betting on it. It is right. I'm going to play bishop to F, bishop there. I could have captured the pawn, but I decided against it. I'm going to play A4 now to restrict his queen side. And he's gone there. And now I'm going to play king to H2. This is to protect this pawn. It could be very important. So what I'm doing is I'm fortifying this situation here. And I'm going to play rook here. And I'm powering on straight through, I hope. I'm now moving my pawns forward to try to trap his knight. I might be going wrong here. I'm not sure. I'm going on my gut feelings here. My pawns in the middle are looking very strong. I'll play queen here. I'm threatening to win a piece, right? Threatening his castle. I want his queen. You can have that. I don't care. I don't care. He won on time.